Okay, abusunya yɛbɛma makɔ abasonko so ɛde Ghana Politics Avenue so abusunya yɛmbonra yɛnsɛm mu ɛndra ɛkyerɛ sɛ asɛm da yɛante no ɛho nsɛm ɛna yɛgu so ɛde brɛ mu Defense Minister Dr. Bawumia ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɔmo wuo no plane crash a ɛkɔɔ so no ɛno ɛna ɛkyerɛ sɛ experts ɛwɔ ɛba aircraft ho nsɛnsɛm a ode ensem bia ba beto dwa say right now no say you focus on investigations, proper investigations. Fine, omo awu no nyame na onim de oye na oye enti no yema eno no entwem ko ne yenye investigations na ade bi wo helicopter mu ana as plane mu a ye frɛ no track recorder ana say black box na sa black box no obisa military task force for say omo hu sa track box na ana say black box na omo hu if say omo hu dia say omo ba abonten na omo be communicate the course so ewo copter ni mu ana say the course so ewo plane mu communication be na course so if say copter no eraye anase nipa na etese one omo communicate no either say omo lose focus anase den pan see pote enti no sa black box na busuya investigations ekoso no omo ko akobie de ewo black box ni mu ensema ekoso track recorder no nioma ewom na suspecta etese omo suspect no bibia bi akyereye if say omo be black box in so amom yenko na yenko nkoti ensema ekọ so unsubscribe subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me enka bi bedamase
unimo asem we buy no wote ye no say na wosite no
oh say asem we dey obi no bet maka say na wote no it is a tragedy that has hit a country into whichever way you receive it no it is you receive it with pains and you receive it with also a feeling say what does the future hold and why such a thing should be happening to our dearest nation. We are not used to such kind of a situation, especially aviation accidents. I think Ghana, we've been blessed to some extent say your food be our this country. Some very few ones are maybe Israeli flight, cargo flight, be a Corso, a work, and military. So I think they've had ones way back or twice of such incidents. And passenger jets, not to the best of my knowledge, there had been one time in say actually so one of those airlines, and it wasn't a tragedy. We should tie in the air when landing and was carried off the runway and public Nipaka cabin accident. And marginally compared to Nigeria, Kenya, and some other countries, Kenya incidents. God has been very faithful and very grateful. Why bless Ghana in Kenya? And I think in the history of Ghana, this happens to be one of the worst. Have time to be corrected until you can understand how the whole nation will receive such kind of very solemn good news and very sad news.
In aviation, no say bus jet say and as a helicopter say a bit tour. Ayana protocols being in the course, especially when your fog rim na ase wiem kusukuku na doso sana.
Okay, I have my concern greatly with the radar control, and then also I have my concern with the Air Force and radar control, especially that is the one it has to do with a military jet or helicopter into and any jet take it off airport. Ghana radar control is one of the longest and the farthest in the West African sub-region. God has means it. It's a flight to Lagos, which is 600 kilometers away from Akroma. Ghana radar control to me pity immediately. Ghana radar control to me pity almost up to Ouagadougou. Ghana radar control to me pity flight at 30-40 minutes from Bamako, Mali. We have the farthest and the longest, more than the one in Lagos, Murtala International Airport. So now it means that all jets, all helicopters, all private jets, all passenger jets in the airspace of Ghana, the Ghana radar control is able to monitor and to follow. Now, and then I'm radar control to me advise Passion Air, or advise African One, say you can't go to Kumasi at this time because you are flying over the eastern region belts, the Alpines, the Coal Mountains. You cannot go. And then Ghana radar control, it means instructive flight only to Kumasi. They will send them back. So you can't land. It's foggy in the back. No mapa. It has happened twice. Passion several times. African world, Wako to Kumasi, back to back in Europe. All these things have been on the instructions of Ghana radar control. Now, this particular issue, in my view, at the time the radar control claims said the aircraft is out of the radar. What time they normally determine say the aircraft, the helicopter is out of the radar? So if the helicopter is out of the radar, the said helicopter is taking off 9:12. The news that we had approaching 10 o'clock said flight in every radar. What we are reading is the military started preparing for evacuation or preparing for whatever that they were to do. Radar control, when did they lose contact with the flight? When did they lose contact with the machine? Abba said, because we see eyewitness account on the ground now, of course, they are not taking care of people. But Akuffo in the watching will yak into one share, but was using 10. How many minutes and as our flight, they say Pinky up to Obuasi? I presume say no longer than 40 minutes. Because that jet, that helicopter, it can go higher up to about 30,000 or 15,000 or more. Into that helicopter can go as much as all these passengers fly jets in Nigeria. And they say if that helicopter had that capacity, so we can call a SOA. At what point when we can go scaling, we can go hitting the French India or mountains. So only we lose contact there. Then it means say that already no, na machine have plundered that already. Come on, from him so contacted. Na machine have followed that. If you look at the time of once for me say about 10. But I say oh no about 10. Or me say become no about 10. Meaning say
okay. The information I remember Ghana Armed Forces for one more Facebook page, one more air now say the missing Air Force Z9 18 hours ago, which means in the next 6 hours
time, babe.
18 hours ago.
How many hours ago?
18.
No. But what are we talking about 18 hours ago? That was, yes. No. We are talking about 9:12 departure.
Okay.
He departed from Otuka International Airport, Air Force Base, 9:12.
It is
at 10.
Okay. It is a sabre about 8:14. It is Sanka. So, calculate here. There's for 6 can 8. That would be the time. Saying 12.
Well, I don't want to, please. I don't need to worry myself over that mathematics.
All right.
If you are talking about analysis, something that's happened yesterday.
Okay, so that was around 12. Around 12.
Around 12 p.m.
Yeah, around 12 p.m. Yeah.
But around 12 p.m. the machine was already on the ground burning.
Yeah, but that is when a statement by.
So that is what I'm saying. So the Air Force and the radar control, that is what we should find out. Because radar control has access of all flights even yesterday. We can retrieve the data. So I'm saying, we'll take you off from Air Force Base, Otuka International Airport, Air Force Wing, Time then we need to machine here. Because if the machine say 12 o'clock, I'm report to say missing. Look at what happened. Come on, report to some machine I'm missing. It didn't take more than 10 minutes. Then there was a confirmation. Look at the time when report to some machine I'm missing. Anytime chief of staff as a confirmation. What is really happening? You see, we have a solid radar control. I mean, nobody can take that one from Ghana. You can't take it from it. Unless those who are not abreast with Ghana aviation system. Monko Airport, Ghana Civil Aviation. Now, Monko radar control, the effectiveness. Until the certain communication is not coming out. That is my view. A certain communication, it is not coming out. Meaning, it doesn't tell you what the time now. Office of the President, Chief of Staff, every an announcement of confirmation. Meaning, before so better news, Amenipa, Abishia said, or validating an accident and then validating those who are falling into the accident. Still, another time, the military formation was also active. So it was, even it came as 4 people. So the military didn't know, the Air Force didn't know, the civil aviation and then the radar control didn't know how many people were even on board. We initially had 4. I think that we are ready. Join me, a Ghana webinar. They reported 4. Later on, say 8. And even at the point they reported 8 passengers and 3 cabin crew. Meaning it's only 11. So there was a distortion. Let us accept, because in moving forward, these are some of the things as a state. We have to look at it. We have to look at it. Was it a mistake by somebody or a radar control when the go? If somebody didn't do his work or somebody didn't monitor the aircraft, because you communicate direct on the flight. You communicate to that aircraft, because that aircraft, modern, the Chinese version, and you're bad. Until you can communicate to them, and they say, "Well, lower and walk in the water." You would have told him, because say 1,000 meters to hit the ground now. It takes only about 5 minutes from 1,000 meters for any aircraft, especially that helicopter, to go on the ground. And there's no 1,000 meters there. That can never move. So your friends woods and answer or go closer to mountains and answer a technical fault and what DVP and what direct. In any case, some machine it's also inboxed with black box. It's equipped with black box. Yeah. So if it's equipped with black box, certainly then Ghana Civil Aviation, Radar Control and Air Force, they must come clean. So what are the findings? Because the aircraft, not a foggy. These are experienced pilots. They've been flying these machines. It is another way of flying there. Definitely, he might have communicated, because any pilot on the wing at any given time, complications, difficulties, he would have. And I want you also to find out from the civil aviation and for that matter, Air Force said, is that Air Force, that plane, that helicopter, is it equipped with night goggles and as a foggy goggles? So if it's equipped, which I believe military jets, most of them have that foggy goggles. If it has that night and foggy goggles now, it could have gone through. Could even and one for Hitibiano. So our goggles, no matter how foggy that it is, he would have known it. You see, we are not probing, we are only being emotional on the subject, and everybody is just talking. Because we see even military responses, and that's we see communication from the ministry now. To me, I'm not getting the technical understanding. Nobody seems to be addressing an issue of technicalities. What could have been the causes? That one is not coming. We are only talking about the departed souls. Yes, but what really causes what we have to look out for so that tomorrow it doesn't occur. Very well. I can't tell me no say not flight our goggles I will go through for you. Obima can't tell me say come to 912 na bibe no say ayra. Now you compare come against you wa no class for the machine one nation. In the machine is no now radar control for only area the no answer machine ayra. Now presidency so also where reference the validation of the news so much. Now one thing, have we also validated said In that area, a Galamsey area. In that area is what the episode of Galamsey started here. Now, Oma Cheki said there could have been what is called unfriendly fire and a heating machine.
What was it there, fire?
Unfriendly fire. Okay. Said there could have been a shoulder to air or any artillery. Artillery will be a heating machine. Me, I will not rule that also out. Me, say Chinese, any Galamsey in your home. Now, Galamsey for me, you need equipment to go. And they know some military flight nearby. A dear following and saying, or Chinese for any recovery, go do this guy this film one. So if the Chinese food and I guarantee to be or more than sophistication, it will enjoy anymore. And they be used to unfriendly fire, meaning artillery and a shoulder to air missile. Shoulder to air missile, come my airport in the polarized. And go for ship to continue Basabasa. So Bakukra will say Chinese from whom you know. And when you see the helicopter now, Wadika airback, a paratroopers DC form, and that's when the ropes DC former. Somebody from somewhere could have also attacked, could have thrown maybe a missile to the flight. We shouldn't rule out anything other than taking a life witness account. Say, that plane, the Anamana Kubudium, the Patriot say, plane, Bekubudium, friends. They have serviced the machine before they left. Of course, accidents and incidents happens. But then really they believe the capacity and the strength and capability of that particular their friend in helicopters. And it's so easy say when you need our turbulences in our airspace. You need our turbulences. And when you're just only short 40 minutes flight, it is a machine which need to free a car. 9:12.
Yes, 12 minutes after 9.
Yes. 12 after 9. Already no do the destination. No do the destination ready landing. Because take it 30 to 35 minutes to get to that side. Not 1 hour or the call was. Because the same altitude now, passion echo 13,000 near them. Only to call. It go to with that in speed, you don't speed level, and go the 30 minutes you do a was. And you look at the time, you for no say. If for no chance, not a papa can say, not a one car, what 10 crown and pound 10 minutes. Let us all be the destination. Into what could have hit the machine? I'm a local plunging into tree. I'm a machine back down. These are things that we have to know. Nobody should just get up and say, the weather was bad. The weather is bad. Planes fly every day. The weather is bad. Yesterday, time I'm not sure. Other planes were taking off. And what are we talking about here? I don't think, sir, we should rest as a country because we should find solutions. Okay. Solutions in this radar control for much time, exact time. I will mean you should contact. Now what's saying? It to 9:12 when you 9:20 na flight in the free radar this one. 9:30 you need a flight in the free radar this one. So 9:30 in the free radar this one. Then calculatively, you know, all we need that are now close to the destination. It is all that a machine now here. And you should be looking for the destination close. Okay. If you can't tow the machine either. Okay.
It's my emergency responses to some of these issues. This was no mean of a person say a defense minister na our flight no. Defense minister won on a bo on my home buying. Na say our flight mo awo to kwan. You are very familiar with that terrain. And ya na the protocols in the course. And na say BBC na se plane tuna se yemfa se 15 minutes and 12 minutes na se move no ewo eye radar no so a den na nka the right thing na ye be 2 questions in one.
And fine. And if the machine is lost on the radar, the only question is you just only alert. But the point is was the radar alert and the radar was able to capture other flights in the airspace and so we make. So a no one flight and a free. So no one flight and a free. There are 2 things are playing between the free radar. So one, the communication system could be switched off and that's technically gone off. So go off there. Let us only radar control contact anywhere. 1. 2, could it be a human error? So somebody did not pay attention, or somebody, the flight, flight officer might have communicated to the radar control, say, Ebia, when we see an answer, only I didn't know. These are normal questions, so maybe say, It be any also okay. Head towards east, lift up, go up, or you are too close. Then of course they lift because I mean a man here helicopter. Helicopter can uplift anytime. It can lower anytime. It's unlike the normal jet. We hear say or go around. Into this question, no, mainly question in answer say radar control set time a machine here free almost attention. What was the last message? Now at the end of the day, we make this investigation. Said you will be a black box. If of course that machine is equipped with black box, and I believe there was a military helicopter, it's equipped with black box. Now, you need crack investigators, aviation investigators, even the Air Force, they don't have it. Because, as I said, if you could go site home, you could go home, you could answer for Libya, your Ghanaian lawyer will be up to. But it also distorts information. As to, I need for any even they are able to people. So, aviation instructor, a friend is all investigators. Every time we say, right, we kill hand the cotoy. We head the koha, we win the koha, left wing didn't call, right wing can the main body media, of course, a planga, a beshi, a shit. Where are we going to locate or looking for the your friend is black box? Apart from what you see the process are women, the place was not cordoned. The place was not, and one said, Akuffo bodies not know. But any advanced country, aviation experts do not care about already perished flights. It's perished. Their concern is the causes. Family America said mountains now almost improve their horn. And aviation expert investigators come up these mountains. No matter the altitude. Now aviation should also be able to connect investigators with radar controls. The last time I'm moving flight in here saying Air Force, how many questions and I say Air Force, PRO. These are things that are also on the back. Yes, enough with the emotions. You lose so much, you know more about Yamin or mine mobile. But what next? What happened? The family, if I were to be a family member, which of course I'm a Ghanaian, so I'm also a family member, we demand to know. We demand to know. So when I come to the house, I say there could have been a possibility of any unfriendly fire originating from ground. That would be a Galamsey side as artillery fire and a hit your flight, because helicopter, like any other jet, say anything a helicopter or one engine machine or the number double with type and one single engine. In this unfriendly fire, they hit in the tailor at the machine the form. It breaking the wing, the wing back at the flight in the form. A hitting engine at the flight in the form. Have we checked those possibilities? In case of the Aka once and say, investigation, you go further and check it. If there is a Galamsey site in the Oklahoma, the people were equipped with machines, thinking some machine in the form, a be mobile, they could have hit it. Have we checked that one? Have we assumed, say, those are some of the possibilities, either than the other technical questions about easy? We should not only be concerned about exam and the body, and yes, they are gallant men. They died sadly in the course of discharging their duty for the country. It goes beyond the flag in the Rebecca Madakaso, because we have to preserve, conserve, and protect tomorrow. We have to protect what happens tomorrow. The aircraft in Amudu on the SN until today, tomorrow. So any state official there as an unconventional helicopter, which of course most of our trips on the short trips are now emergencies in an helicopter. So I mean, say I catch a military jet helicopter over to
that be says the fear.
Thank you. And then I make sure, sir. That is the fear of the unknown, and the fear should not grip a nation, because even in the battlefield, a helicopter at Tiaton, another helicopter is taking off. That is how the country is supposed to be. That is how country supposed to be solidly, because certain answers would have come, and you said the fear, and then your market now a share now, your market be a share, now fire service for Abba say. the cause of accident, the cause of the fire, electrical. But just one report your car, baby.
Yes, but once Ghana na ewo enura per report ayate from baby a adenetehwe na Bekrobia ewo aye Akuffo constituency. I feel Shikamabo Fredu. Kroma for say play ne baya bebe informa chese na information center bia ewo ho no e baya babeduru ne horns no ewo soro ena omuhu ya ne se asan adane a wo san akosoro akọ forest num around that time it say bibi say sia what are the possibilities say bia wo yira ya na say wo ka kire
meeting and I make sure say there had been a disconnection at that time into flight, you know, not one issue in the direction because when they're in the air, much as they are also so a war, the gadgets and also one equipment, airman routines because we are program machine in ordinary. And you know, the machine is on autopilot. Our own routines and so guiding. And it's a mapping system, a core offer. That is when the radar controls them in the air. Even the bigger jets never buy the Akroma them near them. When they are moving, they enter the Ghana airspace. Ghana take over. It's not the pilot, only the airport. They take over. So okay, Accra Airport, the landing ground, flight to be also. Flight to be drop and to go up and that's a hold in the air. They hold in the air sometimes and allow certain flight to take off. So presidents, American presidents, how is the radar control able to tell them no within the radius of Ghana 267,000 kilometers on land and in the air they don't want any flight or airspace. There's a US president taking a flight to take it off until 2 hours after the flight left free airspace of Ghana, what enter other country territorial grounds and then the clear airspace. And then the radar computing will do every flight a day. And then with 2 years Emma for flight. Now helicopter a helicopter, a year-old helicopter. Let's comment the military. Helicopter virtually new. A new Ukraine, a new Ukraine is not that the Bunshika Wanibia. Into the reality of some conformity, the whole country, they do hope and they start turning around them. Meaning, say, at that time, he has already missed the landing spot. And he was already in the, he was already in the mountains. Happening. And the time they will say, it is close, you know. And then the man is a military pilot. They are trained to maneuver. And he might have attempted to maneuver. Because helicopter is it is swift in maneuvering, not like ordinary jet. Helicopter. If you do a tries or turning around, and now when you cruise, you came, you are the wind and the mood journey. And then flight, the propellers, and then say helicopter, the top air propelling. Setting the the machine becomes stagnant. Into the weight of the machine because and then the gravity, I suspend the machine in the air. If that one hits, you are and one machine down.
Okay.
And then you and I knew said the aviation fuel, any the engines of those aircraft, you need a time above for the modified. The moment you touch it down with impact, it explodes. And you should be enough flight, the point was our hit any the lower ground, it can only sense an idea. The helicopter comes with a bigger force, it's a heavy machine.
Yeah.
There are occasions, I think we say, Brazilian Everglades, Brazil military, luckily, almost helicopters are because the Amazon in Ghana, some were saved. When you take forest to that thickness, you need that kind of Amazon thick forest to say what San Francisco near that. We could have been saved if in case the other in the same room now and can be hanging in the air. Unfortunately, they died so painfully, so miserably. But please, as a country, we should find a we need to know the report, either than this only emotional approach of giving messages. We don't need that. We need technical updated report to a bit my cohesiveness.
Okay.
We need that cohesion.
Okay.
Nothing to so when young finish and they say country need training nobody else than the same Air Force, nobody else than the Ghana police. Then aviation investigative because there is one accident of its kind other city country.
Now can be Mr. Ghana Nibi.
Papa, I can tell you, we know it. We only go there to how many we know what I say? Investigators been all ground. Should you have me when I'm a journalist? Won't you move Kumo? Now, I say, your investigators were one. Either than your cover bodies in few any emotional approach in doing things.
Okay.
But Cassandra, if you are almost searching the black box. Omeji, you retrieve. In Yamuchi, we are journalists and as a media person. So, flight during the accident. 270 passengers in Malaysia Air, according to Russia. Investigators didn't care about the body because they know they can't salvage anything.
Exactly.
What were they looking for? They were looking for the black box.
To save millions.
When they, what I say?
Yeah.
So that with the black box, they will be able to communicate because the gadget is designed in the way it said. If even the whole machine burns, information on that data, either voice note or whichever script, it doesn't go off. So they will be able to play and know, say, I'm passing the area. With the black box, we should be able to know, say, the last communication between the pilot and the radar control. Whether or not radar control monitor, coordinator, no monitors our machine. No, but you I'm sorry. And I said, no, I'm sorry. Again, the buyer, again, I don't know my cancer. I didn't say. Radar control won't think the cancer say, machine, I'm missing. I may say, any the woman. I can't any kind of watch it. Say, Akuffo, and Kabaya and Kundi, or you. On pilot, you flying officer, no, any home radar control, or you run and Akuffo, yeah. Because whenever any pilot is in distress, they communicate. The patrol more voice in Winchi, or my boy. Now what your name say, the machine is missing. You're missing where? Can't have been an cancer machine missing. Problem being no cool man sana own in a casa. The stress will too free of what I have no. Let me just also ask one thing. Set machine too free a crap. And on me see will read an so. And going to me from machine and Kakaso I am Kobetiato. I get you. So too free at 912 no. And no call washes or nam or corso. Or taking the seabeds now, or crossing them postal line.
Okay, I was aware and some a course or political highway. So a year experts in a year, a bar helicopter ni plane horns and some or no, and I attend in Casa or this in seminal air to just see our suspects no, Abusia HS investigations, a course or orchard say, and now say, baby, ana plane ni wana a bafom no, a galam say for be ho. And I just say, omo to be an answer, de weapon be can a helicopter and man better from an answer then. Intino and some be because so yes, I already say any updates ever drop piano. Yeah, the baby, I'm subscribe, like and I share my Afro so answer into me and can be, Madam.